Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. It is a new year. We're in a new studio at a new station, and we're excited you're joining us here for the Minnesota Real Estate Show on Love 105 FM. Show is hosted again by my friend, Mr. Overson, Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering of the WE team, the Minnesota Real Estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate team. And of course, Steve Groen with Standard Water in studio today. Appreciate you joining us wherever you might be catching us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're excited to be here. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. on the new station, again, Love 105 FM. Super excited about the FM dial. Scott, we've been wanting the FM and excited to be in a new station.
Yeah, we are. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is our new time slot, 8 to 9 a.m. every Sunday. Thanks for following us along. One thing I've noticed that we're going to have to switch is Ryan is in a taller chair than I am. so that we're gonna remedy that by next week. But again, same rules apply. We love your comments. You can comment just directly on the feed. Any questions that you have during the show, we'll handle them on air. 612-294-6949. If you have any questions, you can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We will handle it on air. And if you have not checked out the website before, mnrealestateshow.com. mnrealestateshow.com talks about how the team works and how we can help you with your real estate needs if that's your deal.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining us again. It's a new year. Again, it's Love 105 FM. Just super excited. They've been very gracious to us, and we're just very excited to be starting the show with these guys. Mike, we should be a fun show today.
Should be fun. Got a lot of info to cover.
A lot going on in the mortgage world, right?
As always, lots of fun stuff.
You get the hot seat right here in the front.
I do, right there.
The quick shot. And Steve Groen, thanks for being here, bud.
Great to be here. Thanks for the invite. I would like to point out that the Vikings' path to the Super Bowl starts today.
It does.
Very true.
It does.
And just got really brutal as of last night when San Francisco won.
Yeah, it's gonna have to run through.
It's going to have to run through San Fran, and
Yikes.
they looked brutal. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thanks again for joining us here. We're just getting ready to go live on air. It's Love 105 FM. Again, FM signal broadcasts really throughout the metro. Of course, we're going to stream the show every weekend too. Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. You can catch the replay later as well too. But throughout the week, 612-294-6949. You can call us, text us. I've got a lot to talk about. We haven't done the live show for a couple weeks, so we appreciate you people following along and saying, hey, where are you guys? Where's the new show going to be? And so we'll be here every Sunday morning from 8 to 9. But a lot to talk about today with the market in the first segment here from a mortgage standpoint, real estate standpoint. A lot of the numbers we're going to dive into. And Mike, again, a lot going on in your world.
Yeah, absolutely. Got good news on rates, so we're going to cover that when we get live on air. But we'll change the narrative on that and have some good news for us.
Yeah, all right, everybody. We're getting ready to go live on air here again on Love 105 FM. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. My name is Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. This is a real estate show, and it's our debut show here on Love 105 FM. Excited to be here, and again, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., we're going to be here talking all things real estate related, mortgage related. This is a show, the Minnesota Real Estate Show, that's hosted by Mr. Mike Overson. Mike is with Luminate Home Loans, wonderful company in the Twin Cities. And the show is also hosted by Scott Wolmering of the WE team and Remax Advantage Plus. And again, I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. We are live, we are local, and throughout the show, you can text us or call us at 612-294-6949. Scott Wolmering, excited to be here. We're on FM, bud.
We are on FM, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is a live show. We're going to be here every Sunday from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We do talk everything real estate related as it relates to the Twin City market. We normally go through a mortgage update and then a real estate update. This is our first time on Love FM, and we made the switch because when people think of me, they think Love, Mike, right? They pretty much do. So we've been looking for a station that would fit kind of how we do things, and Love FM was definitely it. This is our debut here, but we've actually done the show for 18 years. So if you would like to participate, we'd love to hear any questions you have. And you can also go to mnrealestateshow.com. That's mnrealestateshow.com, and you can check us out there.
Yeah, again, throughout the entire show, we're going to be talking real estate, mortgage. I have our friend Steve Groen with Standard Water joining us in studio. And from week to week, normally what we'll do in the first segment, again, is do an update, a real estate update, and a mortgage update, just to give you an idea, a little snapshot, what's happening in the Twin Cities, the surrounding areas. Again, we are local, we are live, and we're here to provide you great information, provide you helpful content as you're thinking about potentially buying, selling, investing in real estate. And Mike, maybe first segment here, we always do like to dive in from a mortgage standpoint. Again, for all of our social media streaming, you're in the hot seat right in the front there.
I am.
I said we put our good looking male model.
Well, I
there
thought
right
we
in
were
front.
going in order of good looks, but then you're second.
Yeah.
So it should be Mike and then Steve.
Right. I know you want to put me in the corner.
Put you in the back.
He wants to put me in the corner, Mike.
That's funny. So Scott, before I forget, I got a solution for your short chair there. I'll stop by my grandma's house and grab some of those phone books from back in the day.
Yeah.
We'll fix that right up.
Okay, I appreciate that.
But as far as the mortgage standpoint goes, I kind of want to do a review of 2022, right? 2022 started, where were rates starting, back in January of last year. Do you guys
Sure.
remember?
2.8
At about
ish.
Yeah, 2.8-ish, about 3 to 3.25 roughly, because they were just kind of starting to climb just a little bit coming out of there, right? So January of 2022, let's say we're at 3.25 for a 30-year fixed. We all know what happened with rates. They went up throughout the year. They peaked on October 21st of 2022. Guess how high they went?
7.5.
Yep, they went up to 7.5%.
Wow.
Okay, so that was the peak. Now today, we're sitting closer to the low sixes, 6 or 6 1/8. I did lock a couple in the high fives with no points, but in general, you're looking at that 6 to 6 1/8. So we go from 3.25 at the beginning of 2022 to October 21st, we're at 7.5. We're down now again, let's just say 6 flat to make it easy.
Yep.
So October 21st to today, we're down 1.5% as far as interest rates go on a 30-year fixed. So I expect that to continue. I think as we get into late February, March, April, hopefully we're going to be in that 5.5 range with no points, which means if you're paying 1 point, you're down to 5 flat. Now we're rocking and rolling again as far as interest rates go.
So, Mike, are you finding again? I saw there was a huge announcement this past week from Wells Fargo talking about their presence in the mortgage business. Are you finding a lot of people exiting the mortgage business with this? Massive rise in rates, and are people saying, "Wow, this is not looking good from a mortgage standpoint"?
You're definitely seeing some pullback, and if you're talking about specific loan officers, right? Just the licensed loan officers that are out there. Yeah, this type of market is definitely going to drive some of those loan officers out. Same thing with real estate agents. So as volume decreases, there's just not enough food there for everyone to stay in it. And so typically you see a little bit of an exodus as far as actual loan officers and licensed real estate agents go. What Wells Fargo commented is that they're getting out of the correspondent lending deal, which basically means they're not going to buy loans from other places on the back end. They're still going to have their full retail stuff. So if you walk into a Wells Fargo, they're going to have their retail loan officers there that can still do loans. They're basically just not going to buy loans from companies almost like us, that if we close a loan, you can go sell it on the secondary market. They're kind of getting out of that gig. The other thing they kind of got out of too was FHA loans. They really don't want to do FHA loans at Wells Fargo. They exited that last year, 12, 13 months ago. They kind of got rid of that. You can still go there. They're just not actively looking for it. So if you actually look on their website, they don't even post rates on FHA loans anymore.
So no FHA.
So But yeah, but you see that there's always changes going on, right? Different markets bring different things. Different lenders have an appetite for different type of business out there. So you'll see some shakeups like that for sure.
Well, and for people listening right now, you might be thinking, well, my gosh, if it was at 2.8% or 3%, last year at this time, even if it's dropped to 6, why in the world would I buy? And so Ryan's going to go through the market numbers right now. We can maybe talk a little bit about that because it is an excellent time to buy right now. And we'll kind of go through why that is.
Yeah, let's dive in. Again, what we do from week to week is we will look at the actual numbers here in the Twin Cities, and just compare them, see what's going on compared to last year at this time. And when we look at new listings here in the Twin Cities, new listings are down, new homes for sale, down almost 23% year over year. So 23% less new properties that came on the market, pending sales or accepted purchase agreements, also down very significantly, 29% less accepted purchase agreements. And then the inventory, Scott, is slowly starting to kind of creep up. It's 20% higher than last year at this time. And the current inventory level right now, again, that may sound like a lot, but the current inventory of homes for sale is 6,582, which is historically low. Again, over the 18 years of doing this show, we've had markets where there's been 37,000 homes for sale. Scott, we have 6,582. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
Scott, you sold 4 homes yesterday. I'm sure that number's right.
Yeah, that number is right. So that's correct. And the interesting thing about this is if you were to take a look back at the beginning of last year, so let's roll it back a year, we were probably at about 5,000 homes. And for those of you that maybe have not paid attention to the real estate market, in the Twin Cities, a balanced market in the Twin Cities, equal amount of buyers, equal amount of sellers, is about 18,000 homes. So when we're at 6,000 homes, this is still the most aggressive sellers market that we've ever seen. Last year is going to be a record forever. I think we dropped to 4,500 homes at some point. But 6,000 homes going into the spring market is crazy. And I told you we were going to talk about whether it was better to buy last year at this time when rates were at 3% versus buying right now at 6%. If you were to take a look at any of the outer ring suburbs, and I'll just use an example of a couple that I did, and you took a look at a 1985 split level, kind of just your standard split level home on a nice lot, a decent, whether it's Lakeville, Eagan, Maple Grove, you can go anywhere in the Twin Cities. We are at about $75,000 to $100,000 less than what you were going to buy that home for last year, because last year at this time you would literally have 25 to 30 to 40 offers on every home that you put on in that price range. So what people were buying at that time is they were buying an interest rate. They were buying a payment. So the fact that the house was listed for $350 and they bought it for $425 didn't really make that big a difference to them because they were buying that payment. Now, if you take a look at the same exact house that was $425 last year, the average sale price is right around $334 to $350. So again, you're at 6%, but you're actually buying a home at the value that it's at. And there's a lot of things in real estate. Payments important, but at 6% and 3% at $100,000 less, your payment's basically the same, and you've actually bought a home that is what it's worth. So you can gain appreciation, you can gain equity. Where unfortunately some of the people that pulled the trigger last year are going to have a little bit of a struggle when it comes to selling.
Yeah, I remember working with a lot of clients last year and talking to the agents working with those clients. And the agent would make a comment to me on the back and like, well, what are they qualified for? They're qualified for this. Well, this house, they're going to have to go, $50,000 over to get this house. And a lot of the comments was from the agents was like, I want to advise them, like, it's probably not a good play, but I also have to advise them, like, look, if this is the house you want, if you got a growing family, if you got to get into something, this house checks all the boxes. And if you want a legitimate shot at this house, you're going to have to go 50 over. Right. So I know that agents had to play kind of both sides of the coin of, man, I'd like to advise my clients to make a smart play on the financial side of things, but they also have a need and there's nothing else to look at out there. So if you do want to get in a house that checks all the boxes, this is what it's going to take.
That's right.
Yeah, gotta give again a big thanks to our friends here at Cumulus Media who've been so gracious, so welcoming to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We are, as you can see, we're in a new new studio. We're at a new time, Sundays from 8 to 9 a.m. We're on Love FM. We're on an FM signal all throughout the Twin Cities. Just super grateful, excited to be here with the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We've got a lot to talk about. Appreciate so many people joining us on social media as well. We've had some questions coming in that we will get to those right away after the break. But again, it's 612-294-6949 is how you can join us either by phone or by text message or by commenting on the social media stream. Again, it's 612-294-6949. We'll be back after. Well, again, thanks for joining us. I've had a question or a comment. Karen says, I have a 22-acre historic farm by Long Lake. Will be up for sale this spring. She said, all cash offers considered, can be split. It sounds like a nice one, Scott.
Yeah.
Very nice property.
Yeah, 22 acres, Long Lake. I'm trying to remember what county that's in.
Long Lake is it's kind of up northwest metro.
Okay, so it's I was gonna say it's maybe Hennepin.
Nice area.
Yeah, because you need 22 acres. You need 11 acres to be able to split it. So that's awesome. And for those on Facebook that might not know what splitting means, it just means that you have a 22 acre parcel with a house on it, and you're able to go into the cities and actually split off half of it. So you'd have 11 acres with the house, and then you have 11 acres that you can build on.
Yeah, in Hennepin, it is Hennepin County. Good morning to so many folks. Thanks for your nice comments from everybody. Min, Mark, Charlie, a lot of great comments. The one system we use, again, it's called Restream, is the name of the app you might see when we go live. And sometimes we can see your name, sometimes we can't. That's if you have the app itself. So if we don't call you out, that's kind of what's going on there. But thanks for joining us. Steve Groen, what do you think, bud, of the new studio, new time?
I love it. No pun intended. So, yeah.
No pun
Now-
intended.
Yeah, and the type of love, when I think of love, is different love than you, Scott. I'm thinking like standard water, just loves water.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of love for standard water.
When I think of standard water, I think of love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It is, it's funny when we were looking at the new station, Scott is a Love 105, a diehard listener.
I am.
Our producer and the program director, who you know from afternoons, Jay Philpott, wonderful guy. He's been kind enough to help us set up with the show. And Scott, you're a love. You know the station.
I am. And when we decided to switch to FM, I was actually I was gone for about 30 days. So when Ryan called and told me we're going to go to the 105, it didn't even hit me. And then when I got home, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the station that I listen to. Hey, one thing I wanted to talk about real quick that we always do, which I forgot to mention when we were on air, is we like to put a question out there. And even though we're a couple weeks delayed,
Yeah.
the question is, what is your New Year's resolution for this year? What is your New Year's resolution? If you've done one, you can go ahead and just send it in to us. We'll talk about it. But everybody's probably done one, so let us know.
Yeah, every week we have a fun question. New Year's resolution. I'm excited to hear what Mike and Steve Groen have to say on this one. Now we're getting ready to go back live on air on Love 105 FM. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. It's Sunday morning, and you're probably thinking, what is going on here on Love 105 FM? Super excited, honored, grateful to be here. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're a local real estate show. We've been doing this for almost 18 years. We're here to help you talk all things real estate related, mortgage related. We've got Steve Groen with Standard Water in as well. Scott and Mike, before the break, we were talking a little bit just about the market, about the numbers. And it's interesting, maybe you guys can comment, though, again, historically low inventory levels, interest rates, you said, are about what, the sixes?
Yep. Yep.
I was talking to an agent on the team who wrote an offer. It was in the $300,000 price range, and there were 14 offers
Oh, sure.
on this. Maybe talk about that, Scott. I mean, because that's hard for people to understand.
Well, and we've been talking about it. Obviously, this is our first show on Love FM, 105 FM. But make no mistake about it, 6,000 homes is 6,000 homes. So I don't care if interest rates are at 7%, 8%, or 9%. When you have 6,000 homes on the market in a market that can absorb 18,000 to make it balanced, when a spring market hits, there is going to be a very aggressive market. And so we've been talking about since the end of November. If you are a buyer and you don't have a house to sell, but you're just buying, the middle of November, probably for the next 3 to 4 weeks, is your window to get a really, really good deal out there, meaning that you're paying, value or maybe even a little bit less. When the spring market hits, the end of February, 6,000 homes on the market, there is going to be, we're not going to be back to 35, 45 homes and 50 grand over and 100 grand over, but you're going to be dealing with, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 offers for anything under 500 grand that's priced correctly. And so again, if you're a buyer out there, right now is the time you want to get aggressive. If you're a seller, it is the best time to sell. I mean, last year was the best time in the history of the planet to sell. This is going to be about the second best year to sell.
Playing devil's advocate again, I mean that if you haven't listened to our show over the years, and that may sound like, well,
no, they have, because the reason we went over here, so many people said, look, I don't want to listen to music on Sundays between 8 and 9 a.m.
Terrible.
I want to have a real estate show on.
That's
so
right.
we're just doing what the people want.
It is interesting though, because again, I know it's hard though, Scott, to not sound like you're just trying to encourage business. You're just trying to get business, saying it's a great time to sell. When again, we look at this over the years, we've had many times where it really hasn't been a very good time to sell. And we've been brutally honest about that as well. I mean, back in markets, Mike, where you got 35, 36,000 homes, average market time is what, 6 months?
6 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
It was not a good time to sell.
Right. I look back at you. We go back and we always talk about you can't compare the market today versus what happened last year or last spring, because that was not normal.
No.
Right. Never happened again. So that was not normal. The Vikings winning 13 one-score games in the season. That's not normal either, right?
Not normal. It's not normal.
We can't compare this year with other years, right? It's just, you can't do it because it's not normal. So we're going back here into the spring here. And you can't expect, something that was not normal to happen again. It's probably not going to happen again, but we are going to go into a spring, like you said, Scott, where it's going to be competitive. We have low inventory, even though it's up 20% from last year. Again, last year was not normal.
No.
Up 20% from a not normal market is not that many homes. We're at 6,000 now. So it's going to be a repeat of last year. So again, we've been encouraging anyone who's a buyer, if you want the best terms on the house itself, anywhere from, like you said, mid-November to, probably mid-February is going to be your best window. As soon as the Super Bowl is over, all the buyers jump back into the pool and we go a little crazy again.
Hey, the question that my dear friend Mr. Wolmering put out is, what is your New Year's resolution? And we're starting to get some good comments coming in. Again, you can call us or text us as well, 612-294-6949. We are live here in the studio. Had a nice one come in from our friend, fellow agent, Allie Walsh. Says her New Year's resolution, Scott, is to buy her first investment property.
Very nice. That is a good New Year's resolution. I'll tell you mine. I like to go with stuff that's achievable. So when I do my New Year's resolution, so for example, this year, I'm going to make my bed once, during the year, and then my other one is to do laundry.
Well, very inspiring,
once.
Scott.
Yeah, once.
Very inspiring,
Yes.
young man.
Those are my
They
resolutions.
always say you want to set your goals to make sure they are actually achievable.
Yes.
I think you've hit it on the head there.
Yeah. So then I feel good about myself, and I don't have to really work that hard at it.
How about Steve Groen? Steve, you are a thoughtful guy, owner of Standard Water, longtime partner with the Minnesota Real Estate Show as well. Do you got a New Year's resolution there, young man?
Well, I have the ones I can say out loud.
Yes.
Okay. So on the business side, it's going to be a ridiculous spring for buyers and sellers with the demand level. But this snow that hit us on January 4th, that 10-inch ridiculous snow we got, that's going to melt. And when that melts, our phones are going to be lit up, and we will need to be prepared and have the staffing in place to, because it is absolutely crazy. We can't answer all the calls. It
I'm sure.
just absolutely goes nuts. So preparing for that is my New Year's resolution. Now, I set that resolution, I think, January 4th. But
Hey, you know what? You know what we have to do? I wanted to invite on, I'm going to put him on the spot here, Mr. Jay Philpott. You know him from the afternoons here at Love 105 FM. Jay, what do you think of this real estate show so far?
I get to be on this show. Thank you.
Of course, we gotta have the master here. You may know him again. We've had some nice comments saying, "Hey, you guys are in a new studio." We are in a new studio. We're in Minneapolis. We're here with Cumulus Media, which is 93X. A lot of our commercials are going on 93X. Mike, that's your cup of tea.
Yep, I should hear our commercials in the morning when I listen to that show.
Morning show. KQ, Scott, that's your
Yep.
lot of weekend stuff. And Love, we're on Love FM. Jay, we're excited to be here, bud.
I'm excited to have you too on all three of the loves, 105.1, 105.3, and 105.7.
All three of the
loves?
Love FM, and yeah, just super excited to be here. We do have some listings too. Again, from week to week, we like to feature those. Scott, can I hit one here quick?
Sure.
Yeah, we've got one. This one, Mike Rodolfo Trujillo has one in Minneapolis. It's 3542 Washburn Avenue North, listed for $299,900. There's an open house today, so Sunday, the 15th of January, from 12 to 2 on this property. And he described it. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath home, almost 1,900 square feet. It is by Victory Memorial Drive in the Cleveland neighborhood. It's nicely redone. It's got new stainless steel appliances, newer windows, interior paint, lots of updates, super clean. Again, check that one out, 3542 Washburn Avenue North. Open house today from 12 to 2, $299,900. Scott, what do you think?
That's a good one. That's that price range that will go very, very quick.
Yeah, we actually, Steve Groen just commented about all of the melting that's going on. So with this amount of snow, Steve, I've seen a lot of people's driveways too. It just seems like everybody's got glare ice on the driveway from like a little bit of melt with these big mounds. But I can imagine with your business, you guys are going to be busier than ever.
we certainly will. And this snow does present some challenges for us because we work every single day all winter long, except for when it snows a foot in one day. I did give the guys that day off, but then we have to catch up, right? But when you're outside walking in the snow, going up and down on ice, they have traction sort of spikes that's somewhere on their shoes. But we're installing egress windows, cutting through basement walls all winter long. And the snow is an extra challenge, but we deal with it every year.
Yeah, we kind of jumped to you sideways. Maybe for people that haven't heard about your company before, maybe tell everybody kind of what is Standard Water and what do you do?
Thank you. Yeah, Standard Water Control Systems, we do egress windows, which ties into the real estate market, right? Building value in a home.
Yep.
Then radon mitigation, which also is something with testing, and we install a couple of those every day pretty much. And then waterproofing, primarily in drain tile on the interior. So if someone has a sump pump in their home, they probably have drain tile, and then along with this foundation repair. So some sort of bowing wall, we have ways of fixing that. And we can also do waterproofing on the exterior. I've got a backhoe, lots of fun little toys. We go out and dig in dirt and dig down to the footing. And
Yeah, good stuff. Had some nice comments too. Excited you guys moved to the FM dial as well. Excited about Love FM. Mike, New Year's resolution there, young man.
I'm not a big resolution guy. I'll admit that.
That's because you do goals daily.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
you have daily perfection goals.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that. I mean, the one thing was I wanted to ice fish more this year because last year we were so dang busy. I didn't get out much.
Yeah, you look like you sloughed.
Right?
You didn't get out there fishing enough.
So, but the problem is that when you got this much snow on the lake, when we were trying to go out there yesterday, I mean, it's you can't drive on the lake,
Yeah.
right? It's very tough to drive on the lake because the ice isn't thick enough for trucks. So you got to do a 4-wheeler or something like that. But there's so much snow, a 4-wheeler almost can't even get out to the ice house.
I never even thought about that.
So, so then if you do take a portable ice house out there, you got to shovel your pad off because you're not going to drill through 2 feet of snow and then through another, 15 inches of ice.
Right.
And then it's all going to melt in there. And then it's going to be a big water mess because you got your heaters in there. So this much snow not only creates issues with Steve's business, but it also creates issues with my New Year's resolution.
Yes.
So
And for those of you that have not met Mr. Mike, Mike, we affectionately call him the hardest working man in mortgage. Mike is the type of guy that he's just got things dialed in, should we say? Whether it's working out, whether it's work, life, just a wonderful guy. Scott,
Well, he was the well, you should tell him, everybody. He was the loan officer of the year,
yeah.
which is voted on. You can talk about it. How do you get into
Yeah.
the loan officer of the year?
it was the Minnesota Mortgage Bankers Association Loan Officer of the Year. So it's voted on by basically peers in the industry and real estate agents, stuff like that. So in the state of Minnesota, I did win that award for last year for the Loan Officer of the Year. So yeah, very honored to receive that.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah, super cool. 612-294-6949. You can join us by phone or by text. Actually had a question come in regarding pricing, asking if we think prices are going to fall. Maybe before you guys comment on that, Scott, the median sales price right now is $354,900 in the Twin Cities. So the median sales price of homes for sale, $354,900. That's up still 4.5%. Are we going to see prices fall, Scott, over time?
They already have. So again, if you go and look at the first 5 months of last year, so January through the end of May, even into June a little bit, that was the top of the market. It was as aggressive as you could possibly get. Since then, it has fallen off. Like I gave the example at the beginning of the show. You take a 1985 split level in an outer ring suburb, beginning of last year, average sale price was around $415 to $425. Now that same home is at $350 to $335 to $350. So it's already reset. And again, have prices.
But did they really drop?
They did.
Because
They did drop.
They did drop.
They did drop.
But again, when you look at it holistically, if you own a home for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, your value on paper may have been $425 for the home that you paid $200 for. But now if it's $350, they dropped, to your point.
Correct.
But you're still up.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Depends on when you bought.
It depends on when you bought. I mean, like, the reality is, if you bought in the first 4 or 5 months of last year, you were buying a house payment. You weren't buying a value. You were buying the 2.8% rate.
Sure.
Well, that's gone away. So now we've reset back, and that's in any price range. I'm putting one on in Rosemount. I did a market on it 7 months ago for the woman. It was at 540, and now we're going to be putting on at 500. So we would have got 540 then. Now we're going to get 500, probably with 5 or 6 offers. So she'll probably get 515 or 520. She's pretty astute. She stayed in touch with the market. I keep her updated. So she's seen that settling. And there's, it's not rocket science. When rates double, 1 or 2 things have to happen. Either rates need to come back down, which they have a little bit, or prices have to settle back in. So we've had a combination of both. We've had rates that have come back down, and we've had prices that have settled in. Don't mistake me. If you bought a house 5 years ago for 300, it's still probably worth 415. So you did fine.
Sure.
We just had that little window of the hottest market in history.
Scott had a nice comment. Lynn said, we were talking New Year's resolutions. She said, you know what, guys? No one's perfect. Daily wellness goals are more realistic and can be restarted daily. Very nice. That is good. So true. Thank you, Lynn. We agree 100% on that. Mike, you are living and breathing that. Steve Groen, I know you are as well. You are Mr. Daily Wellness yourself.
I absolutely buy into daily habits. I actually have a little list. There's vitamins, supplements, there's CrossFit, there's affirmations. It's being positive. I sit here and think about these people who are buying a home or selling a home, and the price might have come down or whatever. If you think about worst case scenarios or other things, you feel better. But sometimes you go in the short term and it doesn't work so well. You know what I mean? It's like, how are we comparing ourselves? What do you want to compare? If you find the right thing to compare to, you'll feel better.
That's right. Well, and I think Mike made a good point. Any real estate agent that was working with clients at the beginning of next year had to have that tough conversation. That, look, this is a 5 or 7 year plan.
Yeah.
You're not buying in this market to sell your house in a year. not a good move. And for people like that, clients that I had like that, I went into the sell, rent, and wait, which is sell your home, sell your home, rent for a while, wait and watch, and then move in.
Yeah, again, wanted to just feature a couple other listings here too. We've got a nice one. This one, Bill Clark, Scott, has in West St. Paul. It's a 55 plus community, 2-bed, 1-bath. It's a 1-level townhome. It's got laundry within the unit, washer, dryer included. It's got an attached 1-car garage. And this is, again, in West St. Paul. Bill Clark has that property listed. It's 80 Carmel Avenue, 80 Carmel Avenue. And the current price of that one is $199,900. So under 200,000, Mike.
Wow.
There is stuff. I mean, and that's again, looking at the photos, checking that one out with Bill Clark, a nice looking property.
I mean, you go back to last spring. Was there anything for 199?
No, we used to always on the show we'd always say, "Hey, there's one with a 2 on it."
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't say anything with a 2 on it.
Yeah. So that's great price. That's not going to last long, and that, that's what we're seeing now, and that's why we keep talking. Look, if you're a buyer out there, you can see these, quote unquote deals right now. Wait a month and a half. You're not going to see that anymore. So
Well, and think about it this way. So you can go, oh my gosh, if I would have sold my house last February, I would have got $550 for it, and now I'm going to get $500. The other thing that you can understand is if you're buying the home that you're buying last year would have got so your gap's the same. I mean, you're still doing fine. It's one of my clients is selling a home in the 5 range, and yeah, she's going to get about $15,000 or $20,000 less than she would have last year. But she's also downsizing to a townhome that is also $30,000 to $50,000 less than stuff she was looking at going in multiples last year. So it's a win anyway.
right.
Yeah, wanted to give a little shout out again, being on Love 105 FM. And there's actually 3 different signals. If you are in the south or the east metro, 105.1, basically everything south of the Minnesota River. It's 105.3 if you're in the north metro, all of our friends in the north, everything north of 694. And then it's 105.7 for Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the western suburbs. Jay, did I get that right?
You nailed it. It's perfect. Yeah.
It's almost like you had a little cheat sheet there in front.
Yeah, right. Almost like we did have a cheat sheet. So again, we've got a couple breaks here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. And again, throughout the week, you're welcome to call us. It's 612-294-6949. You can call us or text us. Excited to be here. Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. If you have a New Year's resolution for 2023, don't hesitate to share that with us. We'll hit that right after the break. Well, what do you think, Steve Groen? What do you think of the studio? What the new digs?
Love the studio. This is awesome. I think that one question I have: if someone's selling their house, how long does it take to get prepped?
Depends on the
You've
home.
been there
Prepping
for
the house.
20 years.
Yeah, depends on.
It's like, okay, let's sell. Well,
I mean, I
you don't
have
just click a button.
I have a woman right now that's been over a year. She's by herself. She works full time. I mean,
Right.
she had a lot of stuff. And so, so it's, and I've, got some people where you walk in and you're like, well, do you actually live like this? Or did you just clean it because you knew I was coming over? There are some people that live spotless. And then I'll tell you a funny thing, and you know this, Ryan, you'd be surprised, the most well put together, just, suit and ties and just hair's perfect and makeup's perfect and the guy's perfect. And then you walk into their house and it's not perfect. It is just, you're like, oh my gosh, it is like,
You don't expect that.
You don't expect.
Well, one thing too, I mean, on MLS, a lot of times you'll see it described, the condition of the property. It's going to tell you, what agents and buyers should expect. And I think sometimes, to Scott's point, if the home is not dialed in, we've seen that before, where people will still sell those properties. They can sell those properties. They aren't going to get top dollar, of course, versus someone that's coming in and bringing, formally staging the house and doing a lot of prep. And I know that's something, Scott, you do part of your presentation is really advising people on just the little things with the house, because that presentation's so important. And Mike, I'm sure you've heard it from a lot of the agents you work with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's right. It's like your pictures, right? Your pictures, your first showing is really people looking online. So if that thing doesn't present well right at the start of the listing with your professional photos that you took, I mean, why even waste your time, right?
That's right. Well, and that's a good thing that Mike brought up. You know, with the way that real estate is now, I mean, when I got in '98, we still had MLS books that came every
Sure.
Tuesday.
Right.
And so you get the MLS book, everybody jump on a bus, you know, you travel out, you look at all the new listings. And that's kind of how you learn to know what was on the market, because the internet wasn't up and running. Now we have analytics that we can determine literally in one day, whether you're priced right, not priced right, the verbiage that on the write-up on the listing is good, the pictures are good, because whether you're selling widgets, motorcycles, or homes, the general public is going to tell you whether they're interested. So when you put a home on the market, you can look at the analytics the next day and you can see, okay, look, we had 1,000 people look at it. So out of 1,000 people that look at it, you should have about 90% that are going in for additional photos. They're taking a tour. They're downloading disclosures. They're
Sure.
looking at whatever. If they're not doing that, I don't care whether you're selling a motorcycle or a house, you've missed something.
Yeah.
Right.
And you better determine what it is you've missed before you go live, because something's not making sense. If 20% of people are reaching out, you've missed the mark.
I had a question come in regarding a prediction for interest rates. Mike, do you think we're going to be about that same range?
I think we'll continue to trickle down. I think, let's say between the end of February and June, I think 5.5, no points. I think we can get there. I think we can hold that for a while.
Wow.
I don't know if it goes much lower. You know, maybe we drift down another quarter later this year and stuff like that. I don't think we're ready to go dive in the cellar again, to be honest with you.
Okay. So we're not going to see that low of a change. We're getting ready to go back live on air on Love. Again, Love 105 FM. Appreciate you joining us here, everybody. Hope your weekend is going well. Go Vikes. Hey, welcome back. We're excited to be here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show every Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Grateful to be here on Love 105 FM. Scott had to hit on a listing. Bryce Schenke, awesome agent with Remax Advantage Plus, the Minnesota real estate team. He's got one in Shakopee. This one is listed for $365, 4131 Blakewood Drive. And it's a 3-bed, 3-bath, 1-level townhome. Scott, over 1,900 square feet. It's got dialed-in cabinetry, granite countertops, 2 gas fireplaces, very spacious family room. And again, it is conveniently located to Canterbury Park, Mystic, Valley Fair, lots of restaurants, shopping. Priced again, $365, 4131 Blakewood Drive. You know that area pretty well too. I know you've been doing a lot over the years there.
Yeah, I do. It's a great area. Bryce is an excellent agent, by the way, and I don't say that about every agent out there. He's very, very good. So if you're interested in talking to him, reach out to that house. You know, during the break, I was just thinking about something you had said, Steve, which I hadn't even really thought about. But you know, your business is obviously basements, radon, egress windows, etc. We are going to have a huge melt. So how do people get ahead of that if they think, hey, when this hits, I don't want to have water pouring in my basement. How do I know if it's going to or not? What should they do?
Well, first thing is most people know they have a problem. It's not like a new thing. There's watermarks, there's mold, there's whatever. They see it in their basement. They know it's a problem, and they're thinking about it already. So if you're in that boat, no pun intended, don't wait. You know, make the call now. We give free estimates. I've got 6 guys who go out. They're professionals. Their average tenure is over 20 years with the company, and they're going to come out and assess it and give the proper diagnosis, and we'll give options in terms of what we can do for them.
Steve,
That's called preventive maintenance.
when I
okay?
think of a boat, I think of Titanic.
Oh my God.
Hey, we are on Love FM here. I mean, come on. I can see you right at the front of the ship, Steve.
See, that's the difference between you and I. When you think of Titanic, you think of love.
Right.
When I think of Titanic, I think of people going down,
Yep. Sinking.
Well,
sinking.
I mean,
Think of
when he
very
says,
cold water. Very
Yeah.
cold water.
Oh my gosh.
see, I'm a glasses half full, guys.
Well, even during that movie, I was like, "Bring on the water!" I mean, that was the longest.
Jeez,
right?
That was the longest movie in history, was it not?
Get to the good part here. Come on.
That's terrible. Sorry, I interrupted you there, Steve, as you were telling us about what you're doing.
Well, there's two different types of people out there. One that prevent the problems, right? And the others that react to them throughout life. That's what they do. And so if you've got that basement that's got issues, you want to prevent the problem, give us a call. But if you don't want to do it, want to deal with it when it happens, that's fine too. Our phone is always on. You can always call. Standardwire.com is our website. And the same thing with egress windows. A lot of people want to update their basements, want to do some basement remodeling. Right now, we're booked out about 2.5 months for egress windows. And you wait about 2 months, and every day that goes by, we add like a week to the schedule. It just gets crazy. So now is the time to go get your pricing and get options and plan.
You know, I'm glad you said that, Steve. For everybody listening out there, if you can hire a contractor in today's market that can get to your project next week, hire a different contractor.
Yep.
Any of the good ones are booked out, like you said, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And that's a drag to have to wait, but those are the reputable companies. It is just, it is too busy of a market to have someone that has that much free time.
Steve,
One thing, with the exception of radon mitigation,
Yes, correct.
that we have room in the schedule to make sure we can handle those situations. A lot of real estate transactions or people need it right away,
Yeah.
we're available.
For sure.
Steve, what is the best way for folks to, again, be able to reach you by phone?
Well, standardwire.com is our website. I don't know if people remember phone numbers, but just go to standardwire.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Steve Groen. If you want a free radon test kit, you can send me a message. I'll go ahead and send one out to you, but that's a great way to get a hold of me. And
Yeah, love working again. Steve Groen, Standard Water. He's a trusted partner, especially fellow agents that might be listening with all the different companies. Steve really does a nice job, again, from a radon standpoint, egress window, basement waterproofing, a super reputable company. You Google Standard Water, you see all of their reviews. Again, there's a reason that we bring on these various trusted partners. They're not just people that we randomly found or wanted to be part of our show. They're people that we vet, that we believe in, that most importantly are focused on you as the customer, as a buyer, as a seller, as an investor. And that's why we have Steve with us. Did want to hit, again, 612-294-6949 here on Love FM. Excited to be here. Throughout the week, you can call us as well. Had a text message question come in that says, when looking for a realtor, what's a good percentage rate to look at to list? And maybe, Scott, before you comment on that, the one thing I'll comment, again, from being in the business since 2001, so now over 20 years, what I'm seeing happening in the market is for a lot of sellers, they just want their house sold, okay? And the last couple of years during COVID, there was a lot of discount companies that came out that felt, hey, I can do this on my own. It's no problem. Everything's going to sell on my own. And there were very low percentage rates. What we're seeing happen now, which was very similar back in the mid 2000s, is customers are saying, hey, my neighbor's house didn't sell. Maybe I should hire a professional that's got a great marketing plan that's going to get this done. And commission rates are settling back into normal rates historically, Scott. And so discounters are slowly withering away. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the number one question that most realtors are asked. And I always pose it to my sellers this way: you're really not interested in what the commission rate is. You're really interested in what you're going to walk away with.
Yep.
And so when you meet with, let's say, 1, 2, 3, or 4 real estate agents and you interview them, when the one that you go with, the question you should ask yourself: is there any way in the world that I believe that agent that maybe is at 6% versus this other agent that's at 5.5%? Could that agent at 5.5% really get me $1,500 more for my house than the agent that I want to go with? And the answer to that question is usually not. And so, I'm not going to get into statistics about what we get list price per percentage based on average agents out there, but it's a pretty big gap. So when you're hiring an agent, you want to look at their marketing plan, and you will get a feeling. If I was selling anything, would I want this person selling it for me? Meaning, are they going to negotiate it? Or are they going to get me a high dollar amount? Because I can tell you the difference between getting $5,000 $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 more is the agent that you've hired. How do they put it together? How much fear do they put in the buyer? How much concern do they put in the agent that they're going to be losing the deal? Again, when we work with you as a seller, our only job is to represent you. We don't represent the buyer. We don't represent the buyer's agent. Doesn't matter if they get the home or they don't. Our only goal is to get you the most for the house, best terms, and with as easy a process as possible.
One thing I would note too, what happens a lot, and maybe as a buyer or seller, you might not understand this, but when you put your house up for sale, your agent, your broker is operating or is offering a cooperative commission in what has really become commonplace in our market. I would say is a 2.7% commission going to the buyer broker. And so what's happened, again, with the discounting in the market the last few years, is that many companies are offering a lower amount to the buyer's broker. And so what happens inevitably is you have to ask, how will that affect my seller? How will that most importantly affect the traffic? We as a company always pay out 2.7. We believe that our fellow agents and brokers have earned it through their hard work with the buyer. And most importantly, Scott, we don't want to hurt our seller.
That's right.
We don't want to hurt our seller. And so commission, we could talk, and we have over the years, we could talk shows upon shows about it. But I would say just from historical perspective, again, from doing this 20 years, when the market shifts like this and becomes a little tougher, people look for professionals. They look for solid marketing advice. They look for people that can help negotiate, that can help you through the process. That's what we do. That's the business that we're in at the Minnesota Real Estate Team.
That's right. And a lot of times through the years, especially with for sale by owners, I will go out to do a listing presentation where the seller had sold their home before for sale by owner. And they were like, we saved X. And when I look at what they sold the home for and what they could have sold it for, not only did they not save anything, they left a lot of money on the table. So it's like anything else. You can represent yourself in court, or you can have an attorney do it. Like my dad used to say, I can drive my car with my feet. It doesn't make it a good idea. And that's kind of what it is when you're looking at hiring a real estate agent. Is one of two things you need to always be clear of. Do you like them? Do you trust them? And do you believe that they are going to do what they presented they're going to do? And if you have that mindset, that's the person you want to go with. Because there are a lot of people out there that they can talk the talk, but when it comes down to actually putting but you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that don't back up what they say.
Yeah, and part of it, again, if you're catching the show for the first time here on Love 105 FM, again, our team is called the Minnesota Real Estate Team. We are all over the Twin Cities. We've got a top agent really all throughout the Twin Cities that knows your area, knows your price range. We would be honored to help you however we can. 612-294-6949. You can call us, text us again, but we help people buy homes, sell homes. And again, if you check out mnrealestateshow.com, there you'll also see our great seminars we do every month. We do a first-time home buyer seminar, which is free, of course, coming up this week. We do that with Mike Overson and his team. We've got our investment property seminars as well. Those are both in person, and we stream those on social media as well. Mike, we're all about providing value to the consumer and getting good information to help people make good decisions.
Yep. Very informational across the board. Real estate agents, lenders, you get to some of our partners there that actually work on the homes and do things like Steve's company over there, Standard Water. It's educational based for sure. We're not at the back with, credit card machines or anything like that, trying to sell you something. The more informed our clients are, just the less stress they have. And the easier and the smoother the transaction goes.
That's right. I mean, we've based it this way. I've been in the business for 23 years, and almost immediately we based our business based on the mindset that if you give people information, like for example, our website was always informational. You didn't have to sign up. We didn't get your email address. We didn't get your number. You give people information and real advice. And the hope is obviously, if you're listening, you're like, God, these guys are professional radio people. No, we're not. we are definitely not.
We're a long way.
We're a long ways from that. We sell homes for a living. That's how we keep the lights on. I like to say. So by all means, we're here to actually help you in real estate, whether it's buying or selling. That's definitely what we're here for. But there is no pressure. If you end up working with somebody else, we're gonna congratulate you and hopefully you get your home sold. It is just we're here for you as a resource. Before we get to the end of the show, which I know we're creeping up on here in the next 5 minutes or so, what is your New Year's resolution?
New Year's resolution. You're putting me on the spot here. It's funny. I'm not a big New Year's resolution guy either. I think my New Year's resolution, as I think about, I'm going to think. I don't have a direct answer right now. Isn't that terrible? I haven't even
Well,
been
it's
thinking
terrible
about it.
since we said it in the beginning of the show. You've literally had an hour.
I know. How about our buddy Jay? I'm going to put you on the spot. Jay, do you got anything kind of hot on the brain? New Year's resolution for you?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm going to reflect back to what 2022 brought me. I was able to visit my 50th state. I've
Oh,
been to
wow.
all 50
Wow.
states.
Oh, nice.
So I thought, well, how do I top that? And I suppose I could go to all the Canadian provinces, but I want to keep it America first. So I'm going to go to all the territories now. So I'm going to try to go to like Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands,
Wow.
Puerto Rico,
Very cool.
and just visit different parts of our country.
Very cool.
I'll tell you in that spirit, answering it, I will say my New Year's resolution is to go back to Ireland. Being an Irishman, we took a family trip. It was probably the most fun, most memorable trip. There were 10 of us O'Neills riding in 2 vans throughout Ireland. And I'll tell you, it was one for the memory books. Our dad is no longer living, but dad went to Ireland a couple times. And I'll tell you, if you haven't been to Ireland, you got to take a trip. I think that's my New Year's resolution.
That's an awesome one. Mine. I was kidding earlier when I said, but mine was pretty easy. I've been out of the gym for 2 years. Long story. I had some neurological stuff they finally figured out. So I actually was able to get back in 2 weeks ago. So that is my resolution to get back at it because it's been hard to be out. It's been almost 2 years.
Yeah. Again, before the end of the show, just had one last listing to touch on. Bruce Williams has this one in Maple Grove, Mike. It's 8983 Sawgrass Lane in Maple Grove. It's a townhome. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1-car garage. Recently had a price drop. It's now $252,000. Again, it's 8983 Sawgrass Lane in Maple Grove, townhome. 2-bed, 2-bath, 1-car garage. Nice listing, Scott.
That is. Do we use price drop now, or don't we use
Pricing improvement.
pricing
Pri-
improvement, pricing restructure?
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Pricing improvement.
pricing improvement.
Hey,
Correct.
Steve Grown, as we head to the home stretch here, thanks for coming on Love FM today. Standard Water, grateful for you and your team. You guys are doing an awesome job, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Egress windows, radon mitigation, waterproofing, and be proactive out there. Get some references, check your Google reviews, and start hiring your contractors now before it gets busy.
Yeah, super great. Again, standardwater.com. Mike, last thoughts for folks here?
We're here to help. You can reach us at mnrealestateshow.com anytime during the week. There's an Ask a Big Brains button right on there that goes right to Ryan and Scott themselves. So again, we're big on information, answering questions, no pressure on our end. So reach out to us. We're here to help.
Scott, last thoughts?
No, just, actually nothing real estate related. We've kind of talked enough about that. Hopefully you enjoy the show. We're here every Sunday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can also catch us on all of the social media networks. Just at football weekend, go Vikes. I hope they get through the first round. It would be exciting for them to play San Francisco. I don't feel as good about that, but I do feel good. I do feel good about today's game. So go Vikes.
Yeah, and my last thought for the day is thank you again for joining us. If you're driving, you're out and about, you're catching the show again. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're going to be here every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We're super grateful for the warm welcome from Cumulus, specifically from Jay Philpott. You know him on an afternoon drive. Here, Jay has taken a lot of extra time to help us, to help our show. We're super grateful for Jay and his extra effort. Jay, we're going to have some fun.
Every week, I'll see you here.
Every week, every week it will be. We're up against the hour here. But again, this has been the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks for joining us on our stream, everybody. It was fun. We had a lot of good comments here from folks. We got our little our lighting as well. We'll be back next week. A lot of good stuff, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, it was fun. Good to be here, and I like being back on FM.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
be back on FM.